Stop calling it love, the real reason you're drawn to toxic people. Hello, my friend. They told you it was chemistry. That mysterious rush when your heart races, your body tightens, and your mind keeps replaying one person's voice and presence. They told you it was natural. They told you that being intensely, almost obsessively, drawn to someone is a beautiful sign of connection. They told you this is life. They told you this is love. Carl Jung would look you in the eye and say it is not chemistry. It is not magic. It is your shadow. Sexual attraction is not only about love or physical compatibility. It is a psychological explosion that often reveals more about your wounds than your wants. When the pull is so strong that you feel powerless, that is not love. That is projection. Inside every person lives an unconscious opposite. Jung called these figures the anima and the animus. They are not vague ideas. They are emotionally charged forces that carry the parts of you that were suppressed, denied, or never developed. When you meet someone who reflects these inner figures, your psyche lights up. It whispers that they hold what you lack. You do not fall in love with them. You fall in love with the part of yourself you have never met. This is why the pull can overpower logic. You may know they are unavailable, manipulative, or simply wrong for you. The attraction still rises like a tide. You feel addicted. You feel haunted. You feel chosen by something you cannot name. In a world where seduction is often weaponized, people can mimic your deepest fantasies without even knowing it. Some learn that the way to dominate another person is not through aggression but through reflection. They become a mirror for your unconscious desire. If a man has never confronted his anima, if he has never asked why he craves what he craves, he is not choosing. He is being chosen by his wound. If someone steps into that role, whether consciously or not, he will surrender and call it love. But it is projection in a beautiful disguise. Jung warned that the meeting of two personalities can transform both, yet when shadow runs the show, the transformation can be obsessive and destructive. It can shrink a life down to nothing but desire. Here is the darkest truth about attraction. You are not always drawn to who is good for you. You are drawn to who completes your internal story. Sometimes that story is a tragedy. A man like Na may have grown up feeling unseen by his mother. Later he finds himself alive around a woman like Lan who is emotionally cold, who gives affection only when chased. He believes this time will be different. He is trying to win a battle he lost in childhood. The battlefield becomes the relationship. The more he is denied, the more he desires. There are women who are not seeking love but power, not from malice but from pain. Their shadow never knew safe affection, so it seeks dominance through desire. When a man kneels to the fantasy, she feels alive. When he asks for real intimacy, she runs. The moment it becomes real, the illusion dies. Attraction then becomes a trap. Your deepest unmet needs disguise themselves as romantic longing. If this kind of truth is what you seek, subscribe so you do not miss the next chapter. Awareness is the first step, and we will walk it together. Now let us remove the mask and face the truth. What you have been told is chemistry is not the magic of love, but the mechanics of projection. Jung explained that inside every man lives the anima and inside every woman lives the animus. These forces are not imaginary. They are charged with emotions, with fragments of the self that have been buried, denied, or never developed. When you meet someone who mirrors this inner figure, your entire being reacts. You believe they complete you. But what you are falling for is not them. You are falling for the reflection of your hidden self. That is why attraction can feel like destiny while it is actually repetition. You are not choosing them freely. You are being driven by your unconscious. Think about this, you know the person is not right for you. They may be unavailable, manipulative, or even toxic. Yet you feel powerless. Why? Because your unconscious has mistaken them for completion. This is why the pull feels irresistible. It is not love. It is your wound choosing for you. Warned that this pull can be dangerous. When shadow takes over, attraction turns into obsession. It becomes addictive. You begin to mistake intensity for intimacy. You tell yourself this is passion, when in truth it is possession. Imagine a man who keeps falling for women who reject him emotionally. One left him for someone else. Another disappeared after intimacy. Another mocked him for his vulnerability. Different faces, same story. Logically, he knows these women are wrong for him. He even says it aloud. Yet he returns. Again and again. Because his unconscious is not looking for love. It is seeking to resolve pain. He grew up with a distant, cold mother. Now his psyche is replaying the old wound, hoping to win this time. He is not chasing women. He is chasing his mother's ghost. This is the cruel loop of unconscious attraction. You are not addicted to the person. You are addicted to the wound they represent. You hope to rewrite your past through them, but instead you repeat it. This is the trap Jung tried to expose. Women fall into this loop too. Many find themselves drawn to men who are charming, dominant, but emotionally unavailable. They say, "Why am I only attracted to men who hurt me?" Or "I lose interest when a man is too nice." The truth is not weakness of personality. It is programming. They were taught that love must be earned, that rejection means you must try harder, that indifference is a challenge. So when a man withdraws, their attraction spikes. The unconscious whispers, "There it is. The familiar pain. Let us try again." This is not love. This is inner chaos searching for a savior. But the savior never comes. Because the other person is not your healer. They are your mirror. If this resonates with you, pause and subscribe now. You deserve to hear the rest of this truth. Now comes the turning point. Once you see the shadow at work, you are no longer its prisoner. The first step to freedom is to call back your energy. Stop chasing, stop explaining, stop believing that another person will heal the wound that was never theirs to heal. Jung reminded us that the unconscious can run your life until you make it conscious. So the task is not to run toward others, but to turn inward. To face what you crave, and to ask yourself why. Liberation begins when you stop mistaking intensity for intimacy, chaos for connection, and wounds for love. You do not need to fight for acceptance. You need to accept yourself. You do not need someone else to complete you. You need to recognize that you were never broken. The desire that feels like destiny is simply your unfinished story calling out. And the story does not need to repeat. Imagine the shift when you no longer need to beg for affection. When silence becomes your strength, not your punishment. When you walk away not to manipulate, but to preserve your dignity. That is self-respect. That is discipline. That is healing. The truth is you cannot rewrite the past by choosing people who mirror your old wounds. You only deepen them. The way out is not through obsession. It is through detachment. You do not have to be louder. You only have to be clearer with yourself. Listen closely, you are not powerless. You are not destined to repeat the same cycles. Every craving that pulls you toward the wrong person is a signal. It points you back to the part of you that still needs to be seen, loved, and healed. When you face that part, when you embrace your shadow rather than chase it in someone else, you break the spell. You no longer need their coldness to feel alive. You no longer need their rejection to prove your worth. You step out of the loop and into freedom. This is liberation. Not from desire itself, but from the chains of unconscious desire. You begin to see clearly. You begin to choose, not to be chosen by your wound, and as you hear this, know that you do not have to walk alone. Stay with this channel, subscribe, and let these truths guide you back to yourself. From this moment forward, you are not the same. You are no longer the prisoner of unconscious attraction. You no longer confuse obsession with love. You no longer chase the reflection of your old wounds. You walk with a new clarity. Say it to yourself, from this moment, I will not be dragged by the past. I will not bow to the illusions of my shadow. I will not let unfinished pain dictate my future. My silence will not mean weakness. My detachment will not mean emptiness. My choices will carry weight, because they will come from awareness, not desperation. You may still feel the pull of old patterns. You may still hear the whisper of familiar wounds. But now you see the truth. You understand that the person who feels like destiny might only be a mirror of your chaos. And you have the power to walk away. Love is not supposed to be a battlefield. It is not supposed to break you so that you can feel alive. Real love is calm, steady, whole. It is chosen, not craved. It is shared, not begged for. So from this moment, let your declaration be clear. You will no longer call addiction love. You will no longer call possession passion. You will no longer call wounds destiny. You will call them what they are, lessons. Lessons that you have faced, integrated, and now left behind. Subscribe to this channel, share this truth with those who need it, and remember, you do not attract what you want. You attract what you have not healed. Heal it now, and let your healing become your power. If you have followed me to this point, you already know the truth. Attraction is not always love. Desire is not always destiny. Most of the time, it is your shadow pulling the strings. But now you also know that awareness is power. When you see clearly, you are free to choose differently. So I invite you to make a commitment right now. Comment below with your promise to yourself. Promise that you will no longer chase the wound disguised as love. Promise that you will no longer surrender your power to old patterns. Promise that you will stand for your own healing. This channel exists to walk with you on that path. If these words awaken something in you, subscribe so you never walk alone. Share this message with someone who keeps repeating the same cycle, someone who needs to hear that they are stronger than their pain. Remember this, you do not attract what you want. You attract what you have not healed. Let today be the day you stop running after ghosts and start building your own wholeness. That is your commitment. That is your power. And that is where real love begins.